See, I can imagine like climbing, like swimming to the cliff face to climb up it, just to jump down to swim back.
They didn't
I
even
was
prep
like,
me for that. It was crazy. I was
Whew.
like, they just told me we're going to dive. I'm like, all right, bet. And then I'm like, all right, well, where's the staircase to get up to the? I mean, not necessarily staircase, but like
wait,
how am I
where's the
getting up
section
there?
we
And they're like,
hike?
right here. This is how you get up. I'm like,
Oh.
that's what I'm jumping down though. You know, like that's
No,
crazy.
that's where we're going down.
It's like I thought we were gonna go around back and like. Welcome everybody. My name's Keith.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to the Beanbag Boys podcast.
It's the Beanbag Boys. We're back again. I am dressed, not as Chris today. I'm Lara Croft.
Lara Croft.
I'm the tomb right here. I'll stand up.
I think you Larry Croft.
That's true. I'm Larry
Croft, right?
Lawrence. I went through some real hell to get these. Also, this is funny. Apparently, because I had no idea. These are plastic guns. Don't worry, YouTube.
Might blur those out.
These are all blur these out.
We'll
these are both
check
right-handed holsters, I guess. So you'll notice this one's flipped backwards.
I saw that when you were putting them on. I was like, is that? I don't have a holster. So
I don't know if that's normal. I don't either. I bought these for the outfit. I was like, is this normal? I have no idea.
I didn't want to question it, but interesting.
I goofed up. Anyway.
Maybe that is standard.
Maybe that's maybe it is. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I'm not gonna whip them out right now because then we definitely have some issues, community guideline problems. But anyway.
Yeah,
it's the what day is it? The 26th of October.
26th.
October the 26th, Saturday.
By the time this will be releasing on Halloween. So
wow,
it's perfect actually.
It works.
So
out
we could let's pretend it's this is the 31st.
Yeah, this is
live,
this is Halloween actually. Yeah. Blah blah blah.
I am dressed up as personal trainer.
Yeah, he's my PT. Yeah, he's the reason I'm looking so jacked today.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I had the surgery. So I had the hernia surgery like 8. I guess it's been 8 weeks now. 2 months, I guess. So like leading up to that, I wasn't lifting very much at all because I was like, I don't want to die.
Yeah. How's that been going?
And then
you said you
it's been great.
That up now, right?
Yeah. So I started. So after 6 weeks, I had to wear an abdominal binder for a while, and I had to be very gentle. I couldn't lift over like 25 pounds. And then at the end of the full 6 weeks, and I could take that binder off, and I could actually lift, and I'm unrestricted now. So it's been, I guess, 1 full week of workouts back, and man, it feels so nice.
Yeah,
it sucked. Like I didn't realize. I mean, lifting exercise is one thing. It's pretty important anyway, obviously.
Yeah,
exercise, please,
everybody.
But like, just I think the routine in general, like, I was working, and then I had the surgery on like a Friday, and then I was off for 2 weeks. Just for recovery and stuff. The doctor was like, you can take a week or 2. And I was like, I'll just take 2, whatever. I took the 2 weeks off, and it was like not lifting and then hardly moving and then being just kind of like sluggish in general and trying to be very careful. It sucked so bad.
Yeah.
And I definitely gained some weight, like 5 or 6 pounds, I think, throughout the course of like the last 2.5 months or something. I haven't been lifting regularly.
Even that's not that bad though. But
I was trying not to. It's bad. It's like it sucked. It was messing me up. It feels super nice to be back in like the routine.
Yeah.
And I've got like no discomfort or anything. I'm feeling great, which is
good,
nice.
yeah.
But yeah, it sucked for a little while.
How have the like newbie gains? Have you felt like where it's like you
chest,
feel like you're like seeing differences
I'm getting it back.
It's
been it's only been a week, but I could feel like I deloaded. I dropped all my weight. I've just been doing the strong lifts 5x5. So I've just been like the staple compound movements, the bench, OHP, squats, of course. Always got to do squats, and then deadlift.
Yeah.
It was like and barbell rows.
Okay. It
was like the basics. So yeah, I've been doing those, but like I dropped the weight, like 50% of the weight or something was the recommended. And I was like, I'll just deload. It's fine. So I was doing bench yesterday, and it was only 90 pounds, and I was like, this is like nothing. Like I'm used to benching like way more, like 150, 160 or something. So I was benching 90, and I was like, I'll just take it. I'll just like form. I'll go real slow, and my chest hurts like hell today. I was like, this weight's nothing. And then like by the end of set 5, I was like, I can actually feel this.
There you go. Yeah.
Maybe I'm a little more out of practice than I thought. But I mean, it's it's why you deload. I didn't want to hurt myself. I wanted to also make sure I was cautious there and everything was good. But it's been great. It just feels so nice. And honestly, dropping weight every now and then, it's like, man, I really have. Like, this is way lighter now than it was when I started. It feels so nice.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a confidence boost there where getting used to one weight and dropping down and being like, oh, wait, I struggled with this before. So
yeah, but also, I can tell, like, differences in, like, my form and stuff, too. Like, with deads and squats and stuff, I'm like, I could feel it. Like, I can go deep, but, like, it feels like I'm stiff, I'm steady, like, I'm strong. It just feels great throughout.
Yeah.
Like, just dropping the weight again, kind of being like, yeah. So I was thinking, I'll take the first week, it'll be really light, and I'll just bump the weight up like another 25% or something like that.
Yep.
But now I'm like, maybe I'll just,
Just ease
just
into it,
add
man.
5 pounds per workout and just kind of like
Yeah.
ease back up.
I
Like,
mean, as long as your muscles are actually feeling the soreness and you're taking
yeah,
yourself to exhaust, that's all
yeah,
that actually matters.
exactly. Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm actually working it. Yeah, no,
yeah, no ego
definitely.
lifts
And like, I
and
mean, ideally, realistically, I'll be lifting for like the rest of my life or a long time to
ideally,
come.
yeah,
Like, there's really no rush, and I'm not, I'm not trying to get too heavy or crazy with it. But
yeah,
what's your workout routine look like? 'Cause you lift too, right?
yeah, yeah. I lift. I still haven't. I need to do that probably shortly after this pod. Because yeah, I've currently just been doing like three days push pull legs, and then I'll take a day or two break, and then 3 days push pull legs. I've done some like specific programs and stuff. I think I looked into strongman 5x5s a little bit. That's just like you're doing 5 sets of 5 reps, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's the 5 by
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. It's 5 by 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Which is interesting. Is that all you do? You go like higher reps and stuff? I'm in like a very like almost endurance cycle right now. I don't know if you've looked into like the different cycles and stuff and
Yeah. Like higher rep. I mean, I think the 5 by 5 is like strength focused. It's more
yeah.
strength training, and it's not so much. So it's not. I mean, it's pretty balanced. I mainly picked that up because I was trying to find a way to ease myself back in, and
Yeah.
I really do enjoy the compound movements. Like I bought a power rack at the house, a squat rack with 6 legs, so it's a
Mhm.
power rack. But I bought that whole thing, and then I've got like a barbell, just a straight bar. And I've got dumbbells, and I've got a bench. So I was trying to find something that would allow me to really incorporate all of that into the routine,
I
but
gotcha.
also be very simple.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was also at the time too. I was like, I was getting back into weightlifting, which I had done like in high school a little bit and a little bit during college, but nothing very consistent for the last several years. So I picked up a few of those things, and I was like, strong lifts is good. It's very basic, but it's easy to get into. And my sister also was starting to lift at the time. My roommate as well. They're both women. They're like neither one of them are very experienced with it, but I was like,
Mhm.
this is a good place to start. And if you want to, I'm starting. And that was like February of this year, I guess
How are
February
they doing with
24.
it? Because I feel
They're
like
doing
strongman
great.
5x5s like guys do strongman 5x5s,
Yeah, well,
but
yeah.
I feel like with women a lot of the time in my experience, yeah, they don't want to get bigger and stuff like that. Which strongman 5x5s probably aren't gonna get you bigger per se because they aren't like hypertrophy training. But it's gonna get you like much stronger.
Oh yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
point. Is
And
it's
like
strength training.
realistically, like as a woman, like I mean, you're gonna get stronger and you'll build some muscle, of course, but like you're not working 3 days a week, even if you're like increasing the weight over time, like you're not gonna be getting huge. But it's really a great routine for like starting because it does like a lot of it is with those compound movements, which the things you just don't think about. It's like when you watch all the Instagram baddies doing their like 8 butt workouts and 8 leg workouts in a single day, and it's like this is my routine for 6 hours. It's pretty daunting, I think, but like anyone can just lift. But the one thing I really enjoyed about the compound, like the squat movement and stuff like that, like my roommate, she wasn't strong enough for the bar. My sister also just didn't. She tried to put the like I tried to do like the back squats.
Yeah, you
And
have.
she was like,
I
I
assume you have
hate
like
it.
a 45-pound bar,
Yeah,
right?
just a
It's the
basic bar.
standard.
Yeah,
But
my sister was strong enough for it. I'm pretty sure, but she didn't ever want to touch it until I got a cushion for it eventually, and now she loves it. But they were doing goblet squats for a while, just like
yeah,
dumbbell,
yeah, yeah.
which is a good workout. It's fine, but it's not the same necessarily as like the back squat. Cause like it's I don't know, it's different, and it's weird because you don't really think about how different it is because you're like, oh, it's the same movement. I'm just holding weight. I'm just squatting. But like with the barbell on your back, it's like you really have to work on like your erector muscles, your lower back, and
Yeah.
your core. You have to stay really straight and tight, and you pull your arms back, and then you go into the squat motion. And it's like it just incorporates so much more of your body
Yep.
in general that like it's much more accessible, I think, and just in terms of like that mind muscle connection you develop doing a movement like that, it's so important. And I think it's really understated in a lot of cases where people walk in and like, well, just I mean, if it's casual, like obviously nobody needs to do that, whatever. But like if you're going to get into lifting at all, if you're going to get into like that routine, I feel like it's a great place to start because it emphasizes those compound movements and it does kind of like focus on building strength over time. And
Yeah.
it's not super complicated, but you can add a ton of accessory lifts to that though. It's not like you have to do these 5 workouts. That's all you can do. Like obviously you can add so much stuff to it. And you can work around it. And I think once you get like familiar with those movements, you understand how your body like just operates and moves so much better that it's like you could pick up a lot of things. Literally, you could just lift a lot of things, but like you can pick up a lot of other exercises, and it's
Literally
much
and
easier to
figuratively.
understand. Like, okay, I know how the muscles in my back work now. I
Yeah,
can
that's
feel
fair.
like when I do barbell rows, I can feel my lats kind of pulling. So when I do like lat pull downs, I understand better innately how to do the movement, and
Yeah.
that's something that's so. I think it's easy to forget because, like I said, I lifted a lot in high school and stuff, and it's easy to forget how crucial that movement and understanding like that basic connection between your mind and like your body can be. But
Yeah.
it's just nice. It's nice to
A lot
kind
of
of get
those
into that.
compound movements are very, very good for all of that, like you said.
Oh yeah.
I would say one of the like detriments, just to devil's advocate you a little
please,
bit.
yeah, please.
Sometimes you'll because it's such a compound movement, it's easier to use a muscle more than you should, right?
Oh yeah,
Which
absolutely.
is a little bit scary. Like you mentioned deadlifts and stuff, where it's like
Yeah.
that's mostly a leg workout and a little bit of lower back and stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like jumping into deadlifts and stuff. That's one of the more dangerous, I would think, compound movements.
Absolutely.
Just because you don't want to lift with your back like at all. Your
Oh,
back is
yeah.
like a stabilizer. It's not supposed to lift.
Exactly.
It's supposed to stabilize.
Yeah.
They're great for that, but then it for me at least, I had like almost the exact flip whenever I was getting into lifting and stuff like that. Those exercises kind of scared me a little bit more because it's like
As
it
they
was
should.
easier for
They
me
should,
to be
yeah.
like, all right, well, if I want to do a lat pull down, all I needed to learn is how my lat feels.
Right.
And like a little bit of core state, but mostly it's just like, what's my lat
Right.
feel like?
Absolutely.
And once I get that down and then start kind of putting them together. But they're very great for especially beginners getting in, and it's simple exercise, and you learn 5 exercises, and you're working out 90% of your muscles in your body at that point.
Absolutely.
And it's like
you're
you're
gonna
not
see
having to
improvements,
worry
yeah.
about like, oh well, did I work too much arms today versus like, oh yeah, but and you get a nice even, especially if your lifts are well and you're lifting well, and most people are gonna get to lifting well.
Yeah.
Your body wants to work in a certain way, and it's gonna tend towards that way most of the time. Most of the time, your body won't try to injure itself.
No, usually not, but
especially if you're not like ego lifting and you're not trying to lift too much. And it sounds like your sister with where for me, whenever I was getting into squats and stuff, I had that same issue where it was like it felt like my shoulders just hurt a lot. But then I started getting my shoulders just kind of put back into place a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes a huge difference.
And
getting all of those little things starting to tweak a little bit, and you start, and it's like, wow, it doesn't hurt anymore. And it's like, I feel like I'm doing it right now. Now that it doesn't hurt, it's like, okay, cool. And you get a little more confidence. And
no, you're right. And to your point, it's one thing I've started with the goblet squats I didn't finish, but like the goblet squats, I feel like they don't incorporate your erector muscles in the same way as like a back squat. And I think it's a big part of the difference is like my roommate was doing that for so long, and then she finally switched over to the barbell, and she was like struggling with just 45s. And she was doing like the goblet squats. I think she's doing like 50 or 52 or something. I can't remember. Like my adjustable dumbbells go up to like 52 and a half, but she was pretty strong. Like, I mean, the other key too is like have people around you who will, monitor your form, check your form yourself.
Yeah.
Do never be afraid to drop weight and check. Always do your warm-ups.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's so much stuff that I'm kind of glossing over with this, but like every single day, like I'll do body weight. I'll do a set, like a 5 set of body weight squats. I'll do a couple sets of just the bar. Like the last thing I ever want to do is like, well, this would be great. I'm gonna just slap 250 on there real quick and then hurt myself. Like,
exactly.
It sucks. Like I'm doing this for sustainability and for like livelihood and endurance, and not, there's no ego in it.
Yeah.
But it's like the progressive growth is just, it feels amazing. And it's been a lot of fun to like bond with my sister and with my roommate and kind of just sharing this thing that I enjoy anyway, but also kind of rediscover it and help them
Makes sense.
learn it on their own. It's just been great. It's a lot of fun. I'm trying to, just grow in general in that way. But
physically and mentally.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like it's because
spiritually, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, spiritually, it is kind of a spiritual. I don't know.
What
You
I'm
hit a
saying.
new
I feel
squat
like
PR. It's kind of a spiritual experience.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm saying.
you stand up and you're like, man, that felt good.
Yeah.
So it's nice, but no, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's so many ways to get into it, and it's super daunting for sure. Like, I definitely understand that. I'm not suggesting anyone should be like, it's so easy, just do it. I mean, it's what it boils down to, and I think retrospectively, it is that easy.
Yeah.
But looking forward, there's so much. I mean, even when I started, well before the Instagram baddie era, and every fucking 22-year-old is like 300 pounds of muscle. It's like, even then, it was like, I don't really know how to do this. It seemed like everybody who lifted or exercised regularly was like extremely fit, and they did it 7 days a week. And I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, find something that's sustainable above all else. And that was another reason I went with that routine. Like, I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's like an hour long, maybe an hour 15,
exactly.
like warm ups and all. Like, I'm taking it pretty slow and pretty light, give myself rest time. But it's all it's got to be. Not that I'm, the visage of men's health and fitness, but at the same, like, I don't look that bad. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I look fine, but I don't know. It's just important. Cardio wise, it's important to get that stuff in too. I tried to run the other day, and it was sad. It was pretty bad. I think I got like an 11.5 minute mile or something, which I had to stop at some points trying to get like the mile, but. I mean, that's one of those things too. You just kind of keep up with it. And
Yeah, I mean,
better.
once you're getting in and stuff. I don't know if you've ever done like couch to 5K and stuff like that.
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
is,
I did.
is
Yeah,
fantastic.
I
for kind of
love
easing
it.
you
It's
into
so
it.
good.
And,
Yeah, couch to 5K is fantastic. I did the couch to 10K at one point too. Because I
Wow,
finished
okay.
the couch to 5K program, then I went up to the 10K, and I was running 6 miles, and I was like, this is great. And I just kind of stopped running one day, and I
Yeah,
have not
I
made
need
it
to
up
get
that
back into
since.
running. I've always like I grew up in like doing track and I remember.
You kind of got the frame for it. I mean, you got those long legs.
Yeah,
anyway. I feel like
well, growing up in school, like on every track team, they're like I would be on every like distance, the max distances and stuff like that, because it was like I would just run and just continue running, and like I grew up in a small town, and we would just like ride our bikes. That was what we did for fun.
That
Is
was
we
it,
rode
yeah.
our bikes around the entire
Not much else to
fucking
do.
town.
That's crazy.
Cardio is I've always really liked cardio and stuff. I don't do it now. I walk
I mean,
him,
you walk,
but
but it's like it's like a 3 mile walk, right?
yeah,
Every day.
yesterday we went like 4.5.
That's
he
a
went
hell of a
crazy.
walk. I
I
mean,
mean, it is. Yeah,
Tom's got some energy. Don't get me wrong. He's won it, but like, still, that's a long walk.
It's a long walk. The issue is definitely like time, because you're talking about like an 11.5 minute mile. It's like, yeah, but if you're doing a 4.5 mile walk, I think it's like
walk,
2 hours.
Yeah,
of us
that's
walking.
that's a long time.
That's my issue with walking, is it takes so much time. But
that's why I
do like running for that
walk
aspect
more,
though,
but
because it's like, yeah, I can take 20 minutes and I did 2 miles and I'm like winded, and
that's
like,
where
I got
at,
all of my exercise done right there. So
once I start walking anywhere, I'm like, yeah, but I could just like pick up the pace.
Yeah, exactly.
I could. That's why. Yeah, I mean, I need to. I would like to walk more. I got one of those under the desk treadmills that I'll use.
Nice.
I use it. I mean, I use it not every
okay.
day, but like I use it like every other day usually. And I'll just like, because I have a standing desk, I'll just stand at the desk and just like walk for a couple of miles. And after a while, like, at a leisurely pace, like I don't even think about it. I'm just kind of like walking while I'm working through a problem, and
It's like zoning.
my body just kind of does its thing, and it feels nice. It's nice, but I walking outside, I get so impatient. I guess I'm just like, man, I could just I could just go a little faster.
Yeah.
But I love, for that reason, like I love hiking and stuff too. But like trail running sounds fun. Mountain biking sounds fun.
I think hiking could be more cool. I don't like it. Just our area. I don't know. And I think you even have found more places around the area than I have even tried to look for. But
yeah, I mean, there are definitely a few walking trails, and there's lakes around here, and there's stuff that's there's a lot of stuff to like explore, but it's kind of
yeah.
I don't know.
Most of the time we just go in and around our neighborhood. I don't know if you've driven in. There's like a big like pond and stuff. Depending on where you're driving
I haven't
in
seen that
from.
one, yeah. Driven around a little bit, but I haven't
So
seen
we'll
that.
we'll walk around the pond and get like some little tiny. I mean, we're hiking up a hill, but oh boy,
those Plains Hills, we're really known for them around here.
Yeah, no, I lived in Denver for a while, and
that's some hills.
Going up there, and yeah, actually like going up to Boulder and like just going into the mountains was fantastic to actually get those hikes out, and it would be like it might only be a couple miles, but it feels like way bigger of an experience.
Oh,
and, like,
absolutely.
You walk for
beautiful
like
out there.
half a mile to a mile, and like all of a sudden like come up to this giant waterfall, and it's like, oh, this is great, and being able to just like kind of take the dog out and let the dog kind of just roam a little bit and have a little fun and
be in nature.
Yeah, that kind of hiking is definitely what I miss. I wish we had more of that. And I think you when we worked together a long time ago, I think you went hiking somewhere like South Oklahoma, right?
Yeah. Where did I go? I can't even remember now.
You said it, and I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of that, but I've never been. I didn't really even think about people going.
That was so many years ago. I definitely do remember that. It was a good time.
Yeah, like
there's a couple of
some
friends.
places
I can't even remember
stuff.
now where I went, but there are places around here. I think part of my issue with it is just like, unless you're going to like a park that's like in the metro area in the city or somewhere around there, it's just like I have to drive so freaking far, and it's like it just sinks into the time more. And with hiking too, especially like the summertime, because it gets so hot, it's dangerous.
Yeah,
if you're going, it's like it's like 110 degrees, and we got here like at noon.
It's insane.
We're gonna die.
It's been.
Yeah, like you either got to go way early or way late, and it's just there's so many risks, and it's just I don't know. I love hiking. I do not love camping. I sweat like a freaking nonstop. It's horrible. I remember there's one time I went to the Woody Guthrie Festival with some friends, which is like I think in the middle of July or something.
Okay.
And this was like in It was probably around 2009, 2010. It was like right after high school. I graduated in 09, so it's probably like 2010. We went that year. And we went to the camp, like in our big tent and stuff. And it was so hot that night. I woke up in like literally in a puddle of my own sweat, and I was like, I felt like SpongeBob when he walked into Sandy's little dome for the first time. He's like, like I was like, I need some water. I'm gonna die. It was so bad. That's just kind of my regular. Anytime I go camping anywhere, it's kind of like my experience is like I'm so drenched in sweat. I'm just a sweaty individual, which sucks. But man, it's bad.
Yeah. So
Camping
I
sucks.
assume you camping, you've been tent camping a lot. I assume that's where you're.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Not glamping. Glamping would be fine. Some were like
What
a
is
little bit of
glamping?
AC.
Is
Glamping is like glamorous camping. Like,
Oh,
oh, you
okay.
got your little RV, your little
and stuff.
camper.
I've done an RV one time, and so yeah.
I wouldn't mind that so
That's
much.
what I'm saying.
but-
Maybe that's where you're.
I love the nature. I don't love the
Exactly,
sleeping in the nature
yeah.
because it's so.
But that's what I'm saying.
but-
That's what you need to look into.
yeah.
Then
maybe.
you get best of both worlds. You get to hop in and get a little AC during the night.
or even if it just goes
Go
somewhere
fishing
cold.
during the day, and
I don't know. I never really experienced I've never really been very far north. I've been to Colorado.
Okay.
Been to like Puerto Rico. I've been around a few
Well, if you
different
go
states.
much
but,
further
like,
north, I guess it might solve your problem. It gets very cold.
that's what I'm saying.
So-
Yeah, like maybe the cold. Maybe visit the PNW a little bit and,
Yeah.
and go hang out and see how miserable that is.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's fair.
I mean miserable for sure, but like in a completely different way. Maybe okay. I don't know. I
You
don't
can
know.
always bundle up a little bit and
Yeah.
hot hands and that kind of stuff.
Even
so.
when it gets cold here, like it's bad. Like I'll bundle up in like a coat or something, and sometimes like I'll just take off my coat and I'll just be like steaming.
Yeah.
It's like I'm
Oh.
so freaking hot, and like it sucks. Like I don't like to be like drenched in sweat wearing like a big comfy winter coat.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah. Sweating and in a coat is like.
it
oh.
sucks. It's like if I take
it's
this off,
so
I'm gonna
bad.
freeze to death.
Yeah.
Like,
Have-
hypothermia is coming.
Have
but
you ever been like snow skiing, snowboarding, anything like
no,
that?
I've never done anything like that.
So
I'd love to.
I love doing that. I've been a few times snowboarder, and that's one of the things where like depending on the day, especially you're up. Like if you're in Denver, it's a mile up on Denver.
Yeah,
Once
yeah.
you're in
Oh,
the mountains,
yeah.
you're even higher up in the sky.
Yeah.
Like you're so. I mean, you're not really that close to the sun, but you
When you
could
take a
feel
ladder up
how
there, you
much
could touch
closer
it.
to the sun you are
Yeah. Oh
than
yeah.
if you're in Oklahoma, and like it'll be like snow on the ground and it's like 8 degrees outside, but you're like sweating because like just the
I
sun
mean,
is
all
just
that
beating
constant
down
light,
on
especially
you
from
and,
like light bouncing off the snow and
Yeah,
stuff. Dude,
you
I'd
have
imagine all
light.
that stuff
Oh.
factors in.
yeah,
I've never
very
been there,
much,
but like
yeah.
it's interesting because like you wouldn't really think about any of that being an issue, but I guess especially being so physical, being so like active in that
yeah, you're
environment.
like you're very active, you're moving, and it's it's definitely like a leg workout, and
yeah. Oh,
yeah, very much so. Like I remember sometimes where it's just like towards the end of a run or the end of a day, like your last couple runs down a mountain, you'll be like, I'm just fucking taking the jacket off. I'm just going up in just thermals and a t-shirt. I'm good with this. Like
Hypothermia, here I come.
yeah,
Just
like
cocoa
hey,
for me
don't
at
fall.
the
Just
bottom.
as long as you don't
Oh,
fall, you're
yeah.
good.
Oh,
If
that'd
you
be bad.
fall, then you
turn
really
into a
wish you
giant
had the waterproof
snowball
jacket,
and
because
yeah. Ooh.
then the waterproof jacket makes a lot of sense over your cotton tee and your cotton thermals or
Ugh.
whatever. Yeah, it'll get so hot while it's so cold at the same time.
That's
it's an
interesting. Yeah, that's
And that steamy taking off the jacket and just being like, oh,
yeah.
man.
I mean, it looks kind of cool for a second, but then you're like, yeah, this is miserable. I don't like this. Like to. I've been water skiing before, which is
Okay.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I prefer like inner tubing. That's a ton of fun. Like going out on the
Inner
lake with like a
tubing's
tube. Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Especially if you just like you don't actually put your legs in, you just like grab onto the handles and just pray.
Yeah.
See how many waves you can take before you fly off. It's so
Yeah.
much fun.
Have you done the like people go like barefoot skiing and stuff like that?
No,
Have you
my
tried that?
grandfather tried that one time.
Okay.
He was like,
I've heard it's
I'll
not that
grab it, you
bad.
just take me up. And he was like, yeah, he said it wasn't that bad at first, but like the next day his feet were so bruised
Oh,
he
okay.
couldn't walk. He's like, I'm never
Yeah,
doing it again.
maybe if you get
But
used to it.
yeah,
type
when I was a
thing,
kid,
and-
he did it, and I was like, "That's the coolest thing I've
Yeah.
ever seen anyone do, Grandpa." he was definitely the cool guy that day. But the next day, he was like, "I regret everything."
I like water sports and that stuff. I grew up with a wave runner, which is like a jet ski.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're
Like a little
big
Sea-Doo.
into like like a Sea-Doo or something like that.
Well,
I
the
don't
wave
know.
runner is the standing one, right?
No, I think that's the jet ski.
Oh, the jet ski's a standing one. The wave runner is the where you sit.
Realistically, I think they're all just like brands. Like
Oh,
the
are they? I had no idea.
Yamaha makes a wave runner, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Well,
I think
fair enough.
like Kawasaki might make jet ski. I think that's a big difference, but there is I think the difference where I think the jet ski is standing.
Interesting.
I think it also has seats though, but it has like
Huh.
the, if I remember right, and I didn't have a jet ski. We had a wave runner, so it was fully seated.
Okay.
But I think they have like the handlebar kind of lifts, so it's like kind of a dual purpose.
Oh, okay.
type
So
thing.
I guess that kind of makes sense. 'Cause, like if you need to like lift to control something,
Yeah,
maybe.
and like you could stand up on a wave runner.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well, for sure you could. Yeah.
But yeah, so some of that stuff is a lot of fun. I don't know your
I think I've ridden on
with...
one ever.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I've been to the lake several times. I mean, it's kind of like what you do around here. There's not much else to do. But like,
Yeah.
I think I've maybe ridden on one time.
Okay.
But
See, I like those because I rode motorcycles and stuff like that. It's just like a motorcycle on water. It's a lot of fun.
yeah,
so.
no, yeah, that makes sense for sure. And being, I don't know, kayaking terrifies me.
Oh, I got stories there.
I mean, yeah, shit. I
don't
would
do
love
it
to
anymore.
do it. I would love to do it,
That
but
shit
like it
terrifies
scares
me too.
It's scary. But like I've ridden in like a canoe, and that's a ton of fun. I mean, just kind of rowing in general. When I went to OU for like in 09, I really wanted to sign up for the rowing team, but I was not athletic and I didn't know how to. I never ultimately signed up, but like I really wanted to. I was like, that would be so cool.
I wanted to do that at UCO too.
Yeah, UCO's rowing team would be cool too.
Well,
but-
if I remember right, I think they only had a women's rowing team. Like they didn't have a men's rowing team.
yeah, that's right.
Which was like,
yeah, I
that
forgot about
feels
that. That's
weird,
right. Yeah, yeah.
But I guess so. I didn't get to. That was
Maybe just not enough
definitely like
interest, I guess. I
one
don't
of the
know.
few college sports where I was like, that would be fun. And
Yeah,
that was kind of in my my like bulking up and getting into
yeah, it
lifting
looked
and
like
stuff.
a Winklevoss twin.
That's my thing. Is I was like, bro, my back would be huge. Like
yeah,
rowing is
no,
crazy.
absolutely.
So and I thought that would be a lot of fun. But I did go. I think it was actually canoeing. You mentioned where I think we were on a canoe at like there's some kind of white water rapids or some shit around here somewhere.
Yeah.
As a kid, I think I was like 10 years old or something. We went, and there was one section where it split off. You're talking about it being terrifying because it split off. I'm like 10 years old at the time, and there's a spot where it just gets like very rapidy and stuff. And we got our canoe sucked up under like a branch or some shit. It was like bad. I like almost drowned. Like we
Holy
had
shit.
there was like where it split off, there was a big sandbank or I don't know what you call it, where like a bunch of people were there, and like people we didn't know were like jumping in the water, like pulling me out at like age 10. Like that was so I personally like that canoeing shit. Yeah, it scares the shit out of me now.
Scary.
I like have a little PTSD. I'm like, it would be cool to get into some of that stuff, but I don't know that I could actually do it.
Yo, yeah.
As soon as I get to where it's like, oh, the rapids start kicking, I'm like, oh no. So I've done some like tubing and stuff. I don't know if you've like tubed down rivers and stuff like that.
No,
Just a
mainly
little
on
more
the lake,
calm?
not down in the river. That'd be fun though.
Yeah,
That'd be really fun.
most of the time it's a big drinking activity. I don't know if you're a big drinker,
hanging
but
out, yeah.
everybody will
It's
just
kinda
bring
what
their
you do. There's
cooler.
nothing
and
else
you,
to do on the lake.
you get one tube with the cooler, and then everybody else.
Yeah, everybody just
kinda
like
chilling
sits
and-
on the outside. That's pretty fun.
Well, I think the way we did, we just had a tube that was the dedicated.
Oh, not
cooler
like a
tube.
huge
Everybody
one, just
else
like,
had
I see,
like there were
yeah.
a couple other tubes everybody else had, and then
Oh,
there was
yeah,
a
yeah,
dedicated
smaller.
cooler tube.
I was thinking
but,
like a massive, like a party size, like a
I'm
3-person tube.
sure there are those too. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's around. I remember we went to this may have been after you left our old job together, but like we had an event at the there's like a water sports.
I think it was right whenever I was leaving.
It may have been. Were
Yeah.
you there for that?
I don't think I actually went. I think it was
Okay.
like, oh yeah, you could go. You're invited. I
Yeah.
think. But I don't think I actually ended up going. No.
We had a great time. It was interesting, but they have like a simulated rapids kind of in there, and it was really cool. And that was one of those, I can't remember what we were in exactly. It wasn't a kayak or anything, but it was like there were like 6 of us and like the instructor. I feel like it was one of those tubes or something.
I want to say gondola, but I don't think it's a gondola. Like
I
the,
don't
the thing I'm thinking
remember.
from like Venice.
Yeah,
like one of those where
no,
like,
no,
oh,
not
okay,
like that.
okay.
I'm pretty sure if I remember right, I'd have to ask. Cooper would know because he was there. He was right in front of me. I remember at
did
one
all
point
the planning and stuff.
we had to
right?
lean a lot. I was the only one, of course. I look like an asshole. I was the only one who fell out of the stupid tube. When he was like, if you fall out, we're just gonna have to, you know. He's like at the beginning up front. He was like, if anybody falls out, we're just gonna have to like swim off to the shore. We can't really pull you back in because it's just dangerous. So I fell out, and he was like, "You're coming with me." And then I was like, "Well, I gotta go." So I turned around, and he was like, "No, come here." So he reached out, and he grabbed me, he pulled me back in. He's like,
fair.
"We just won't tell anybody about that." I was like, "Let's go."
That's fair.
It was so much fun, but it got crazy because there was it was like it would get rocky, and we'd have to like lean real hard, and it was like you'd have to like really like you had to keep your feet planted firm and stay like tight and like hunker down. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
It was a cool little team building exercise for sure. But no, it was a good time. And water stuff, it always it's so scary. I remember like we used to down at Lake Texoma, which is
Mhm.
like right on the border between Texas and Oklahoma. That's where it gets its name from. Big ass man made lake. We used to because my family's got a little cabin down there.
Yeah.
From like the 60s. My grandfather was like a preacher or a priest down in like Durant, Oklahoma.
Okay.
So he had like it's a dinky little. I mean, it's basically torn down at this point. It's so decrepit. But the family cabin, when you go down there in the summers and stuff, I remember we used to always like fire off little model rockets.
Okay.
Like you get them from like Hobby Lobby or whatever. But that was just like kind of a fun thing we like to do. I remember one year I was probably like 13 or something like that, and I was like, we fired off a rocket and the wind caught it and it like blew way out like into the lake, and I was like, I'll just go get that. It's fine. So I stripped down to my undies and I just like hopped into the water and I was like, and then I was like, after a while, I was like, this thing feels like it's farther out than I thought it was. I was like, whatever. So it was like, and I was like, was it this far? This seems kind of crazy. So then eventually I caught up to it and I was like, I turned around. I was like, why is the shore so small? And I am fucking tired. I was
that
like,
shit's scary too.
So around that time, I was so far out that somebody on a boat drove by and they're like, are you good? And I was like, I think so. And they're like, do you need a ride? And I was like, honestly, I probably should take one.
Yeah, right.
So then I climbed in. They like got me closer to shore. And I was like, that was a lot dumber than I realized. Like, I was like, I got this. I can swim. I've been swimming for years. I know how to do it.
That shit's scary.
Swimming wasn't the problem. It was getting out there and getting like the wind caught it. The waves kind of blew it away. And it was like, it's a fucking paper little plastic rocket. Like it was, it was the parachute. Like I could see it pretty clearly. I was like, oh, it's just like right there. No big deal. But I got tired quick.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how dangerous that stuff was. But thankfully, I was safe. Everything's fine. But like it's like to your point with the canoeing stuff, it's like it can just go wrong like that. Like water is no joke. And when you get that far out, like it's impossible to see somebody's little head bobbing in the water. Like it's like you're done.
Like actually going out and even knowing how far you're out there is
like that. I mean, even like one of the most recent CrossFit games, somebody died on like the water.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's crazy.
A horrible situation. Yeah, he passed away, but he was like going down, and it was like nobody caught it. Nobody saw him. They didn't find him for like another 2 hours after that. It's horrible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But
yeah, no, that especially like you were mentioning where it's like, oh yeah, cool, I got this, and then you turn around, and you're like, oh, now I have to do that same amount of exertion, like, I have to do that while
all
tired.
The way back. Exactly.
It's like, so a similar scenario, not exactly similar. Have you ever done like cliff diving and stuff like that?
No, it'd be interesting. I've never done it though.
It's definitely interesting. I the first one I did was I think in like Lake Tahoe. There's like a 40-foot cliff that you can go up, and like you have to climb up, hike up this cliff, and then you jump down into the water. So that was like one of the first ones I did. But that one, whenever you're doing it, like you ride a boat up to the rock or the cliff or whatever. And so cool, like you jump in, and then your boat's like pretty close, and you jump back into the boat. There was another time where I went to Van Buren, Missouri, and there's like a river or a lake or something there. If anybody's from Van Buren, they probably know what I'm talking about. But there's a cliff that a lot of people will dive there, and in order to dive it, like you have to like rock climb to get up to it.
Oh shit!
And like there's not like whenever I was like, yeah, sure, I've done a 40-foot. This one's like I think it was like a 25 or 30. I could do that, of course. Like whenever everybody's asking me if I want to do it, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like nothing. If I've done a 40, and then you have to swim to the cliff, and then you have to rock climb up the cliff, like legit rock climb up this cliff. I guess bouldering. I guess
it's
maybe
bouldering.
the more
no
appropriate term.
Bouldering, I think. Yeah, technically.
I wasn't prepped for that. I wasn't, and so like then you're like up there, and you're like, oh god, now I have to jump down and then swim back. It was like, oh, that was I had that same like, oh no, now I'm exhausted. Like, so yeah, that it gets scary real quick. Doing some of that stuff.
Yeah, I remember
some water stuff is interesting.
An offsite for work. We were in like Boston or something, I think. We went to a rock climbing, like a climbing gym there.
Yeah.
And we were doing some bouldering at first. My boss is huge. He loves rock climbing. He's a big rock climber. So I went with him and another guy who actually runs Ironman like competition. Like he was in Ireland, ran Ironman. So these guys are like, I live for like 3 days a week. These guys are insanely
These
fit.
are the 7 days a week guys.
Yeah, but I mean, they're awesome. And they were like, hey, you want to come? I was like, hell yeah, I want to come. That sounds awesome. And we had a great time. But like the bouldering stuff was so much fun. It was so much. I'd never done it before.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun because it was like 10 feet maybe. It was like not that big of a deal. So you'd like hop on and and it was just like that mix of like problem solving and like the physicality.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the
and
like,
everybody's
problem-solving aspect
body's
of it
so
is
different
huge.
too. So it's like I'm short as hell, but they're like my boss is a pretty tall guy, so he's got like, oh yeah, I could reach this. I'm like, it'd take me like 2 moves to get up there. Like I can't do that. So it's like everybody solves it differently. It was so fascinating. It was so much fun. So then my boss is like, well, let's do like some lead rope climbing. We'll go out there and they've got this thing where like you're on the rope and you just climb up to the top. Then once you touch the top, then you just let go and drop down. And I was like, yeah, okay, I guess. So we went in there and I think the wall was like 30 or 40 feet or something like that. Which when I was sitting down, I was like, that's pretty high up there. Okay. And then I climbed up and I climbed it no problem. And then when I got there, I was like, fuck, I'm tired now. And I looked down and I was like, holy shit. I was like, I'm not letting go. So I was like, let me just slowly inch my way back down. And I was like hunkered to the wall. And then I got like maybe like a quarter of the way down, if that. Then I was like, ugh. And then my body just gave out and I just fell. And I was like, don't die. But of course, I mean, obviously the technology, it was fine. Like the thing caught me and it slowly descended. And he was like, yeah.
Harnessed and all
Everybody.
That stuff.
He's like, everybody gets freaked out. It's fine.
Makes sense,
I was like, it scared the hell out of me. I don't have like a fear of heights or anything, but there's something about like being that high up and exhausted.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, this is like survival instincts are telling me this is not a good situation.
Yeah.
See, I can imagine like climbing, like swimming to the cliff face to climb up it just to jump down to swim back.
They didn't even
prep
prep me for that. It was crazy. I was like, they just told me we're going to dive. I'm like, all right, bet. And then I'm like, all right, well, where's the staircase to get up to the? I mean, not necessarily staircase, but like
wait,
how am I getting up there? And they're like,
hike?
right here. This is how you get up. I'm like, that's what I'm jumping down though. Like that's crazy.
That's where we're going down.
It's like I thought we were gonna go around back and like.
That's nuts.
So yeah, so some of that stuff is.
Scary. It's
scary
fun.
Real fast.
I love
it.
Climbing.
Is fun. It's
swimming's
adrenaline
fun.
is a hell of a thing.
Yeah, I just like seeing what my body's capable of. Like seeing what I can do. That's what's a lot of fun for me. But even then, some people take it so far. Like the triathlon stuff or like the Ironman competition. Yari is his name. That dude he's incredible. He's like 46, I think. But I mean, he's done everything. He was a power lifter for a long time, and then he just he runs like 10 miles for like his training stuff. Like he moves up in pace. I think it's a full marathon. It's a 26-mile run ultimately, but he'll do like 10-mile runs and it's like a 7:30 pace or something like that. I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah.
You're like a high schooler. I don't understand.
Like going consistent.
That's
for
incredible.
That fast of a pace. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. I mean, he's an amazing athlete. Absolutely amazing. And I work with some people who are like I know I worked with a lady who she recently ran an ultra, like 100-mile, which was like insane.
Yeah,
just
distance runners are something.
Yeah,
I'm not as a kid. Yes, I was. Now, no.
Oh my goodness! I mean, it's so incredible.
Which, to be fair,
incredible.
I think like once you're actually there and you're in it, like it's been probably like a year or two since I ran a 5K last, but I didn't really do a ton of prep for it, and I was like going into it, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna be screwed. And then whenever I got there, I was like, oh, I got this the whole way through. So I think like once you're kind of in it a little bit, but also being in it for 100 miles is that's crazy.
That's what's interesting too, because like that's what Yari was saying about the like when you get into like because the Ironman's like it's like 10-12 hours of like because it's like a full swim, it's a full run, like a marathon run, and then like it's the bike, like it's a full triathlon, but it's like it's incredible. Like there's so much distance. And he said that like the problem generally is like your muscles are so damaged by like midway to the end of the race, like there's nothing left for your body to give you. It's not like, oh, my cardio sucks. It's like, oh, my legs are about to fall apart.
Off.
Yeah, like it's just like my body's like trying to save itself because it has nothing more to give.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's incredible. Just to think about like pushing yourself to that limit and being like, for a while, I'm like, oh, I did some like hour of cycling. I need a banana. Like it's different. That's not what we're talking about at all.
Right.
It's incredible. Like how hard these people can push themselves. I don't know. It's been interesting to see some of that and to meet people who do that stuff because they're so. You'd expect anybody like I feel like if I ran 100 miles, everybody would know it. Like, I'd probably wear my medal around everywhere I go for a while and be like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, a lot of them are more humble.
We can talk about it.
More just like,
but they're so like I had no idea. Like when I talked to like my old coworker who ran the ultra, I was like she just casually mentioned one day that she like met her husband in a running club, and I was like, oh, you run? She's like, oh yeah, like marathons, and I was like, that's incredible. You're on marathons?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm training for an ultra. I was like, what are you doing? Why didn't you ever tell me this before? I've known you for like a year and a half. You never mentioned it?
Yeah,
that's
there's
crazy.
like, oh, that's whatever. Whatever, no biggie.
But I mean, it doesn't come up. But it's just like, man, I don't know. It's so fascinating. But I guess also once you like get to that point and you get to that level, maybe it just becomes kind of normal. I don't know. But
Yeah, I mean, kind of normal. I think people like to push themselves a little more. So that person who is like working towards an ultra is like, yeah, but I know somebody who does 200 miles.
who's already done it.
And
Yeah,
it's like, what the fuck? So like the comparison is the theft of joy or whatever.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah, no, it's
you're
true.
sitting
That's
here
true.
thinking, man, like it's crazy. If I could do 10 miles, I'd be impressed. And then they're like, yeah, but I want to get up to 150. And so for them, it's. I mean, there's certain stuff where like I probably do, and I'm just like, I don't even want to tell anybody because I know where I want to be,
Yeah,
and I'm not anywhere near there.
Yeah,
But then people who are just on a completely like way further back on their journey, they would love to be where I'm at. And so
yeah, I think
they probably have a little bit of that too.
it's easy to get wrapped up in to your point, that comparison of like, well, my local maximum is like here, it's what I can do, but like the global, like what people have accomplished
Yeah.
in life, it's so far beyond. There's no way I'll ever get there. I shouldn't even try running a 5K. Like that's, I can't run 100 miles. I can't even run 3. Why bother? It's like you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think also it's like, just because you don't, I mean, maybe you don't like running, maybe you don't like anything, I don't know, but I think it's so easy to get stuck with like, oh, I'm already 35. There's no way in hell I'll look like that 22-year-old who's like jacked. But like, who cares? You don't have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the basic weightlifting, a basic exercise routine is so, for one, helpful for your mental health and your physical health, obviously. But it's so like surprisingly easy to start once you kind of understand where to start.
Once you get there,
and you have
like
the
I think
equipment.
the initial start is definitely a
The
hurdle.
upfront, yeah, and
There,
that's the
it's a
hard part.
big curve to get up there, and then it's like, oh, okay, this is all I'm actually doing. It's pretty simple, I think, at that point.
I don't know if it's necessarily that big. I guess it depends on what you're talking about. Like for like a routine like you and I have,
Mhm.
I feel like that there's a lot of upfront. Like for me, obviously,
Yeah.
I don't go to like a commercial gym, but like for me, it was like I already had some experience with like those compound movements and like the form, and I was pretty familiar.
Mhm.
You could look that up on YouTube, but it's so different. I think watching somebody do it and then just doing it yourself and trying to replicate it. Like
Mhm.
since I had a lot more experience, I think it did help. But I feel like, I don't know. It's easy enough to step out and be like, oh, I'm just gonna go run a mile, or I'm gonna go run 8 blocks, or run around my neighborhood twice, something like that, and just kind of like see where you vibe, where you start. Like that, starting a routine like that, it's not that hard generally. But it's also like a no equipment cardio kind of thing. So
Yeah, there's a lot more mental hurdle than actually like
I
doing
agree.
it. And,
Yeah,
like,
the physical stuff
it's
is
not actually
generally
hard. It's just like
Yeah,
getting your brain into doing it. And
yeah,
I know, like for me, like getting into a routine is huge. Where it's like, all right, cool. I know that like today I need to work out and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But before, where it's like I'm never working out and stuff, actually starting that routine is hard.
yeah. No, it is. Especially because then you're like, man, I'm gonna be so sore after I do this workout for the
Yeah.
first time, and that sucks too.
And a lot of people, especially like starting out, like you were mentioning how like, oh yeah, my muscles are super sore on lifting these lower weights and stuff.
Yeah,
The DOMS is a real thing. Delayed
yeah.
onset muscle syndrome, if I remember right.
muscle soreness.
Muscle soreness, maybe. I
Maybe?
think it's syndrome.
It might be syndrome. Maybe. I
But
can't
it is
remember. But yeah.
talking about soreness.
Yeah.
But like your first like month of working out, you have like a different set of soreness that you
Mhm.
never see again after you've been working out for
I
a
feel
while.
like even after like a couple of weeks, it goes away.
yeah,
generally.
like a month is like
it's-
the max. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
like 2 to 4 weeks.
If you're doing,
it
like,
pretty much goes
different
away.
workouts every week, then for sure like a month. But like if you're doing like the same routine, like with the 5x5, I think like the
Mhm.
first week to 2 weeks maybe
Yeah.
you'll feel the soreness. But like, I mean, like the soreness I feel right now, it's not that bad. But it's gonna go away next week. I won't feel it.
Yeah.
Because like I'm now, once I get back into it, my body's like, yeah, we pretty much know,
We know
what
what
we're
we're
doing.
doing,
We're good.
and
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Like we know this is normal. It's fine.
Yeah, I think that like throws a lot of people off though, especially if they aren't
Oh,
used to
yeah.
it and
Oh,
they
yeah.
if they don't know that soreness goes away.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
And it's
that-
so easy to go way too hard your first
true,
time too.
true.
Because you're like, everybody's like, well, yeah, I'll try like the bar and then just put some weights on there. Like, don't. Just
Yeah.
try like body weight and just do it for a little bit and figure it
Yeah,
out. Like,
yeah.
it's
Whenever I
fine.
was getting started again, I was amazingly impressed with how little weight I was pushing to like
Mm.
be able to still feel like exhaustion and,
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. And it's just like that's crazy that it doesn't matter how much you're lifting. It matters that your muscles are getting exhausted. And so
Yes.
it's like get to that point and then figure out where your weights need to be after that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Any different goals too. Like you still push little weight and then go with like higher reps for for endurance
Yeah,
and
yeah,
strength
yeah.
gain, stuff like that. I mean, and really it's more like the form and the control.
100%.
It's all about managing the movements, which we can get more in depth with that, but maybe that's I don't know. But like controlling the eccentric movement and then kind of focusing on the stretch of the muscle. This is the focus. So like even if you don't have a ton of weight, but your muscles are stretched and you're really like controlling that movement, then you're doing great. You're gonna feel it. I promise you will feel it.
And you touched on like the eccentric movement. I think that's one thing that most people once you're lifting, about that.
Yeah.
But like the fact that like on a bench press, you pushing up doesn't matter. It's
no,
you bringing it down.
Yeah, exactly.
You bringing it back down, that's the part that you're like actually building your muscle
That's
on.
the
and
stretch.
stuff like that.
That's stretching and tearing at the pecs. Yeah.
Like most of the time, whenever you're coming into it, it feels like it should be the exact opposite. It's like, cool, if I can get the weight up, then I'm good. I lifted that, and it's like, but did you control it on the way down?
Exactly.
If you can't control it on the way down, you need less weight. There's like weird little intricacies to lifting, but as you get into it, like I don't think you have I have personal training experience. I read a whole fucking book on it. I did it professionally, but you pick that stuff up, like either by like people telling you or stuff like that, or just like naturally you just start to figure it out.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, cool. Like
I'm friends with a couple of personal trainers, but it's just like you said, it's not always necessarily the most intuitive, because you think that like the weight going up is the cool part. That's the part that matters. But like the stretch of the muscle is what you're focusing on. And the more weight you add, you're just kind of tearing it up more. But like, it's interesting. And then once you kind of understand that too, it really helps to kind of inform, I guess, a lot of the other movements with things like pec flies and standing like cable pulls and stuff like that. That's like, I understand now the part of the movement I need to focus on more. And I think it's easy when you're like, oh, okay, well, don't worry, like, we're glossing over all the nuance of it. Just like, here's the basic movement, control it when you go down. And that's totally fine for like basically everybody.
Yeah.
As you get more into it, it helps, I think, to understand like, where am I feeling the stretch, or am I feeling the stretch? And then in that, I think, again, more kind of touches on that mind muscle connection that we talked about a little bit. But and that's just, it's another interesting thing. It's like, you don't think about all of your muscles and how they feel and stuff. Like when I was a kid, I remember like when I started lifting, I was a teenager. I always liked that my dad could like flex his chest muscles. Mm-hmm. So when I was a kid, I was trying to like learn. I was like, I don't know why it's so hard for me. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. It wasn't until like I was a teenager, I started like actually lifting weights, that finally it clicked. I was like, oh, it's just right there. Yeah. It's just like, it's your chest. You just move your chest. It's so easy. But like before that, I was like, I had no concept for like, what does it mean to move my chest? I don't get it. Like I sometimes, even when we were starting to lift, I was like, I told my roommate, I was like, okay, when you do like a squat, or when you do like, brace your core. And she was like, what does that mean? And I was like,
teaching
what do you
people
mean,
to brace
what does
their
that mean?
core is crazy.
I was like, what? It's nuts to me to think about now that like, you don't know what it means to like flex your abs. Like you don't understand what I mean. Like it's crazy.
And
but
most people, in my experience, don't.
That
was one of my. That's a very big. You can sell a lot of people on personal training real quick if you teach them how to brace their core in like 30 seconds. They're like, holy shit, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, what did you just do to my body?
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's something you do subconsciously with so much stuff. You just don't even think about it. But it's like, once you do establish that, and you can kind of like that autonomous thing, you can make it like semi-autonomous. You can do it like on command. Yep. It's kind of a fun little party trick sometimes, but like it's just like, it's genuinely very useful. To understand, and it really does help to. For me, I don't know. It's nice to learn more about how my body works and to kind of push it and to be like, this is nice. This feels good. This feels fun. This is challenging, or what have you. I like competing with myself a lot in that regard of like, sure, I can lift heavier, but if I drop down the weight, can I still feel it? Yeah. That's also a challenge. It's just important to kind of like reassess those things and really, really tackle the challenge. But it's great. It's good fun for sure. I think I was at 190 for a little while. That felt pretty nice. I'd like to get down to like 180. Okay. I think it'd be pretty good. But I'm a heavy boy right now. Just like, I'm too heavy. I think I gained, like I was around 190 and I started lifting, and I definitely gained some muscle mass, and part of that's the weight. But then, like I said, even when I was the downtime of the surgery, I gained like 6 pounds or something. Yeah. And I could tell. I could see it in my face and in my body.
I mean, how clean is your diet?
Not very. Yeah, that's another problem.
That's
like,
probably your
really,
biggest
Oh,
issue.
no, for sure. Yeah, a big part of it, a huge part of it's diet. My diet really fell off. When I was recovering too, I was like, fucking, I just need something quick, because like I don't have the energy to go out and find and cook decent food. So I was like, I'll make soup, and I'll just grill some grilled cheese sandwiches. And that was, and that kind of became like the norm for a little bit. And that was definitely where a lot of like the weight gain came from. But
Yeah,
I've been
that's where
adjusting that for
where
sure.
weight comes in. I think
No,
more
it
often than
definitely.
actually lift. Like you can some people and you'll get some weight where you can like force it through. Where I'm just gonna lift the weight off, but
No,
diet is
100%.
so
Diets,
important.
diets, abs are made in the kitchen for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question. My diet is definitely a big part of the problem. And like, I mean, the lack of exercise didn't help, but I think it more than the lack of exercise, the lack of routine that really kind of threw me way
Yeah,
off on that.
that's fair.
And getting back into that now, it feels so nice to just to be like,
Yeah, it's
I
good.
kind
Good
of
to
feel like
hear.
I'm coming back to center now, and it feeling a little bit better with that.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
what have you been playing this week? What have you been up to? Let's do that.
Same old, same old. Just been on RuneScape and kind of learning some new bosses, new fights and stuff like that.
Okay, those raids we talked about last time.
Not necessarily raids yet. I'm still in prep phase and doing like random bossing and stuff. I did like 60, 70 Zulrah kills. I think we talked a little bit about Zulrah.
Shit. Okay. Yeah.
So I've
What
done
was
some of
the
those.
drop rate for the big Zora stuff? It was just over 100, right?
So
Like
it's like
120.
I looked at it. It's weird, kind of on how the drops go, because it's like, oh, you're if you roll the unique table, it's like a 1 in 128, I think, to hit the unique table. But then there's
okay.
4 unique items, so it's like 1 in 512 technically to hit any individual item.
Right.
I did get in my like 60 or 70 kills, I got 1 item. But it was like the one I cared about the least because I can't use it yet.
Naturally.
It's like a magic based item. It's a good item for sure, but I have to I need to now work on my Slayer so I can go get the Slayer drop to attach that to the item and actually use it. So I got an item in my bank at this point.
That will be of some use at some point.
It will eventually come in handy, and it will eventually be like, oh wow, cool. But also, I might get another one by the time it comes in handy. So
well, that's fair,
we'll see what happens.
So which items are you really looking for from Zora?
So I need it drops one of its fangs. I think it's a fang. Drops a ranged weapon, the blowpipe. I think we talked about it a little bit. It also drops a helmet that I could use.
Spit on that thing.
That makes it to where like you don't have to worry about like using anti-poisons and all that stuff. So that would be helpful if that dropped. It also drops a gem on that same, and that 1 of 4 is one of the gems that it drops. I could probably go buy some of those gems, but also it'd be nice to get it as a drop because I don't have any onyxes, and getting some onyx jewelry and stuff would be nice, and getting upgrades.
Oh, okay, so it's a gem. So it's not for like slotting into weapons. It's like for crafting.
Yeah, you craft it into a necklace, or you craft it into
like
a ring
style
or something like that.
POE.
Yeah. So it would give me like a necklace upgrade or something like that. I think it would be a necklace is what I would go to. I'd have to actually it might be a glove enhancement or something like that. So you can like craft it into a bracelet. So some of that stuff. I've ran some other like I ran Dagonoth Kings last night. I was grinding those out, and they drop different. There's 3 different kings. One of them is mage, one of them's melee, one of them's ranged, and they drop rings. And so you'll grind those out. I think it's 1 in 128 for a ring.
Shit. Can you decide? Can you pick which king you fight?
So it's like 3 of them sitting in like a giant, just a big circle area.
Okay, so it's not like random. Sometimes you get the mage. Sometimes
I was running it to where I was just doing all 3 of them, and I would just kill one and then go to the next and then kill it and then go to the next and kill it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just kind of go in a circle.
Yeah.
I ended up getting very lucky because I was on a Slayer task. I think I needed to kill 127 or something like that, but I killed the mage and the ranged for about half the task, and I got 2 mage rings and 1 ranged ring. So hella lucky on those. It was like first 60 kills or something like that.
Damn.
And then the next part, but that wasn't necessarily the rings I was going for. I wanted the melee ring. So then I just sat and kind of camped out the melee boss and didn't get lucky for any of the melee boss will drop 2 rings. You don't really want one, but I didn't get either of them anyway.
Oh shit.
How
many
so
kills
we'll
did you
be
get
back
on that,
eventually.
On the melee king? How many kills did you get?
I think I was at 75 whenever I left.
Okay, so
total.
still under odds, but still not great.
Yeah, still under odds. I mean, I can't complain. Like I said, I got two mage rings, one range ring, so I got to throw a mage ring in group, and that's nice.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, just doing some of those like little boss grinds.
So I mean, are those rings going to be useful to you at all? I mean, do you have like a mage setup or?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I have mage gear and stuff.
Okay.
There's definitely uses for a lot of that stuff. Like I was even using the mage ring to kill the melee boss at that time.
Oh,
so
it makes sense. Yeah, fair enough.
I could technically use it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I don't know that it actually made a difference with how the numbering works and how damage and stuff works like that.
A little bit of variety.
But,
it's a spice of life, I hear.
But yeah, it gave me a little upgrade and stuff like
That's
that.
Good.
What about you? What games are new in your neck of the woods?
It's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Yeah,
that one's been fun. And some of the what ifs in that, I can't remember if I talked about it before on the pod, but
I
feel
think a
like
little bit last
did.
episode.
Yeah, I mentioned a little bit. Some of the what if stories in that are like they're so good. They're so, like some of them. One in particular with Gohan, any DBZ fans will know, and any Sparking Zero players will know. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it was like one what if story for that in particular was like, damn, it was better than like the official story we got for sure.
Okay.
It was so good. And it was like it just fit canonically, just made so much more sense in the story, in the context of like the way they wrote it out in the game. It was just like, this is great. It's just so good. It's interesting, but dumbest. But no, it's been fun. I'm ass at it. It's like an arena fighter. So it's not even like a real serious fighter. That's right. We talked about fighters and stuff. I picked up Rivals of Ether 2 as well.
Okay.
That's like a
Is that
platform
good?
fighter.
It's
It's a platform. It's
the new
okay. I played a
fucking
little bit of it. I haven't
Ludwig
played a
game.
ton of it, but oh, is it?
Yeah, that's their
okay.
game. They made that,
Oh, that's
or
cool.
like his brand made that.
I didn't know that. Interesting. That
Like
makes
that.
sense. I guess considering he was like a big Smash Bros head.
Yeah,
I didn't know that
yeah.
he was involved in all
It
that.
looked interesting. It looked. I feel like
Cooper's been playing it.
I've seen like
he's enjoying
Smash
it.
and stuff like that, and I feel like always Smash looks very fast to me, but
Yeah,
it feels like Rivals
Melee
of
for
Aether.
sure.
I don't know if it is, but I felt like I could follow it a little bit better.
It does
seemed
feel a
easier to
bit
follow.
slower. Yeah,
I
I
don't
haven't
know
played
if
a
it's
ton of it
slower
yet, but
or
I never
I'm
played.
not sure.
I never played the original very much. I think I had it maybe, but I
Mhm.
never played it very much. It came out like 2015 or something, 2014. So yeah, I played a little bit, not very much. But the sequels seems okay. I've played like the arcade mode with a couple characters, but not. I have not sunk much time into it.
Yeah.
And I've been playing through Axiom Verge, which also came out like 2014.
Okay, wait,
I'm
what
way
is-
behind.
I,
Axiom Verge is like a Metroidvania style.
okay.
Kind of like it's much closer to Metroid, like NES Metroid, because of like the types of weapons, like the beam weapons and
Okay.
a lot of the abilities and stuff. But basically, it's one of those where like you just kind of like move around a massive map and you unlock new things, beat bosses, get new abilities and
Mhm.
items and stuff. It's pretty fun.
Hmm.
I heard a lot about it and it was on sale at some point, so I picked it up and I was just like, I'll play this.
That's fair.
So I don't know. I'm kind of hopping around. Honestly, I don't have a whole ton of time, or haven't at least dedicated a ton of time to like playing video games or playing on my computer too much lately. But the new Legend of Zelda game, I guess, too. I haven't beat that one yet, but I've been playing through it with my roommate.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time.
That one's been pretty fun.
You getting close? I assume you beat fuck that. There were two other ones recently, right? There's Tears of the Kingdom, and then there was the other one before it.
Yeah, I beat Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
I don't think I actually did make it to the ending of Tears of the Kingdom yet.
Okay.
I could. It's so big. I did so much in the game. I was like, this game's incredible, and I just kind of like slowly was like, I'll just walk away from it for a little bit.
That makes sense.
I do that a lot, honestly. I'll play games for a while, stop and come back, and then I go through phases.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm feeling platformers, sometimes I'm feeling fighters. I don't know. Pretty much always playing something though. But you just RS build, nothing else at the moment.
I mean, I've been playing a little bit of Overwatch here and there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were talking about that. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll play that.
What's your main in Overwatch at the moment?
I'm a Tracer main.
Oh,
so.
that's right. Yeah, my
Yeah.
man. Dude, Tracer's hard to play. Talk about
She's-
Smash
she's-
being
oh,
so
yeah.
fast.
Yeah, I definitely like. I'll play some other like damage heroes and stuff. I haven't touched tanks since I've started, which was
Tanks are
it's-
fun.
I probably should. But I'll play like some support and stuff like that.
Sport's fun too. I enjoy playing sport.
It's interesting though, because yeah, I really enjoy damage, but I can tell I'll be like, man, I just need to stop playing Tracer. But it's so fucking
It's
fun.
so much
But I'm like,
fun,
I
dude.
feel like if I just picked up Soldier or just like played
I
something so
love
much
Soldier.
simpler,
Yeah.
I could
yeah.
probably skyrocket in rank. But I have so much fun on Tracer.
Tracer's great, man. If you have like a decent, I don't know, it's hard to like confirm with Tracer, but you can really annoy with
Oh,
Tracer,
she's so-
and that's the best part.
yeah,
for
you're a little
sure.
mosquito. It's
Absolutely.
fun.
But nothing feels better than those like the ding, and then like you get like 5 headshots in a row.
Bro, you
and
hit a
it's like,
one clip on
ooh.
somebody. Or,
Oh my god!
I
yeah.
love like sneaking up on a widow, and it's just
Oh,
like they're like
perfect.
scoped in. It's like, oh, hello, and just like
Yeah.
one clip, you're dead.
It's so good.
It's so fun.
I was never very good with Tracer, but I love playing Tracer.
Getting good stickies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
my
dude, those
bombs have
are
actually
so good.
I'm getting decent at my bombs.
I really enjoy playing Zarya for sure. Like
Okay.
early on, man.
I played
had
her in
so much
Overwatch
fun.
1 a lot.
Yeah,
so,
dude, I love Zarya. Oh, and OW1, she was great.
Yeah.
I think back then too, people for some reason nobody knew not to shoot the shield, so you could pretty much just like pop the shield. And
Bro,
you're
people
instant
still
charge.
don't know that.
I-
It's crazy. And I'm probably in like a lower rank. or
Yeah, well, yeah, I
something,
guess.
but-
That's, yeah, by the time I was playing, I was like in Diamond when I was really
Yeah, once you
playing a
start
lot,
getting
and
into
then
it,
people were
yeah.
like, "I'm not touching that fucking thing."
Yeah, I'm just
stupid?"
gonna
And I'm like,
stop
yeah, okay, I
shooting,
gotta
but-
probably find somebody else to play.
yeah.
She was fun. Reinhardt's okay. I'm trying to think who were the other tanks in that. 'Cause
There's like Roadhog's a popular one.
Roadhog's a ton of fun. I'd never liked Hammond, the hamster guy.
Doomfist is one.
Is Doomfist a tank or is he damage?
I think he started out as damage when he released, but he's a tank now.
He's a tank now? Okay.
Yeah.
Doom Daddy, we used to call him.
Which is
Doom
interesting. I like seeing a Doomfist as Tracer a lot because it's nice. It feels like it complements pretty well. But
Doomfist can rough it up for sure. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I never understood like his charge mechanic stuff. Just never really jived with me very well. He's okay, but I don't know. I enjoy the supports are pretty fun. I love Zenyatta. Getting like a Discord orb.
So fun. That's one of my main supports. Yeah,
man, it's a problem because when I play Zenyatta, I focus so heavily on just damaging people.
Like I think that's a Zenyatta
not a very
thing.
good support. It is, but it's like I could play like a Mercy or I don't like Lucio very much. He's good. I just don't like playing him all that much. It's just kind of eh.
Yeah, I feel like Lucio's like an acquired thing. Like if you get super into Lucio, it's one of those like you're gonna main Lucio. I mean, it's similar to Tracer.
He's such a unique play style. I like Baptiste quite a bit because he kind of jives with like the damage sensibilities.
I want to. He reminds me of like Halo. It feels like a fucking
with
Halo
the BR.
Build. Yeah, like a little BR and stuff. They buffed the shit out of him in the last patch.
Did they really?
They like reduced his recoil by like 35%.
Holy shit!
It was like a crazy number.
Did they nerf the hell out of him at some point?
No, they didn't touch him at all. They just said, "Oh well, we were worried about our players or Baptiste players being fatigued with the recoil." So we reduced it 35%, but we don't intend on this buffing his damage, and it's like everybody's just spamming
headshots.
Yeah, because it's like, you reduced recoil 35%.
He did have some pretty bad recoil. I remember that because like you get like of the burst, you get like 1 to 2 headshots maybe, but it was like you're better off just kind of hitting center mass.
Yeah. So like I want it. I've played Baptiste a little bit, but I haven't actually tried him since the new patch. I try to avoid like super overpowered characters because I feel a little bit cheesy and a little bit like, like, am I actually learning how to play this character? Or like, as soon as it gets nerfed, am I fucked?
I'm not against playing a character that's like pretty strong in the meta, but I also I agree with you in that like it gets boring after a while to just play the same thing. But
see, I love playing the same thing. I'm like I said, I've put way too much time into Overwatch, and like probably 80-85% of it's been Tracer at this point. I love like sitting in one trigger. When I played League of Legends, I played Echo, which is what kind of drew me to Tracer. I don't know if you played League at all and you know who Echo is.
I did play League. I remember when Vi came out. And that tells you how long ago I played it. That was many years ago. I played because Riven was cool to me, and there was back then they had like the
type,
there was the like the custom like client side you could like install skins.
Yeah,
I had that for a while, and I made Riven like she had like a broken Buster sword, and then when you like pop her ult, she has like the full sword, but like the rune sword, it was like the full Buster sword, and she was like dressed in Cloud's outfit, and I was like, this is the coolest. I'm playing League now.
Yeah, I wish they had more skins like that.
No, it was so much fun. That was like I basically mained Riven. I played a little Amumu and some Shen, but I was like, I don't fucking understand what I'm doing with these guys. That was before I'd played like any MOBAs. Now I've played a ton of Smite, and I could pretty much get it. If I picked up League, I could probably be not good, but competent in the beginning. I wouldn't be like a total beginner, but
yeah, I think that makes sense. Like Riven's more of like a fighting game. Like it reminds me of a fighting game focused character in League. Like it's one of the main.
She's a lot of it's so much fun to like pop her like QWE QWE because it's like her dash slam and then like charge something. I can't remember exactly the whole. But like getting the combo down on Riven, like running top lane, and it felt so good.
Yeah, some Rivens are crazy. But like I played Echo pretty much everywhere I could. And Echo is like he's an assassin that his ult will do basically like a Tracer recall.
Oh, nice.
Except like you do like in a big circle, you'll do like a shit ton of damage on where you land.
Oh, interesting. On the way back or on the
like on the way back, yeah. So you'll hit the ult and wherever you were at originally, like you'll just like do a blast of damage. So
interesting. That's kind of cool.
Doing that was a lot of fun because you'll sit there and like make a play and then like you'll run back to your team and then you can like ult back into the team and like wipe the team and do stuff like that. But it is almost like it reminded me a lot of Tracer where it's like it's really hard to like secure a kill on this like melee assassin champion that's one shot.
Tiny little like fast as
if you can, then you can like jump in, you can like get a kill, you can ult out, and then you can jump back in.
That is cool. I do
stuff
love
like that. And
I always like that archetype of like the really fast, focuses on critical hits, like damage dealer, kind of like sneaky, sort of the rogue type, but like not so much the poisons and stuff. Like I was really excited. I remember in Diablo 2 when the Lord of Darkness, the LOD, I think it's Lord of Darkness expansion came out. They came out with like what was the Necromancer, the Druid, and the Assassin, I think. I can't remember exactly who. Man, it's been so many years. But basically, the Assassin came out, and I was
which
like,
Diablo? Diablo 4?
2.
2. Okay.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, Diablo 2. Like, Diablo 2 LOD was like,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it added
yeah,
to 3.
Makes sense.
But it was like, I was like, oh, I'm so excited for the Assassin. And it was like mainly like trap focused, and I was like, it's
Yeah, you
I
like
don't
traps
like that as
and
well,
bombs
whatever.
or whatever. And
But
stuff
like,
like
you know, like
that.
a monk build or something has always been really fun and like an RPG. Something that's
Mhm.
like fast paced, like whop in, get some damage, but kind of a glass cannon. I always enjoy those characters, but
Yeah.
they're fun.
Yeah, no. Lots of fun. Lots of fun.
Anyway, no, this has been good. I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, been a good week.
Yeah, good.
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
We didn't say that in the beginning. That's fine.
Did we
Whoops.
not? I don't
think we did.
remember. Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Maybe we did.
Who cares?
This is
we did
actually
the
episode
intro.
4,
The
though. We
intro
did the
itself
intro. That's
was
true.
there.
Yeah, we did do the intro. So
So-
that was good.
I mean, whether we hit the episode number or not, well,
Yeah, it's okay.
maybe we'll punch that in.
I guess now we can hit the outro.
Yeah.
I guess that's us.
Yeah.
Beanbag Boys out.
Beanbag
Thanks for
Boys
hanging
out.
out. Now I felt a little unceremonious, but that's okay. It's
See you
fine.
next week.
See you next week. Oh, that felt